All right.
So what are we doing today, Scott?
I'm going to walk Carl through how I would handle a buyer in our current market, and in this, Carl's going to be the buyer.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. So Carl, we met online a couple weeks ago. Thank you for your willingness to come in and meet with me today. Purpose of our meeting today, I really just want to find out what exactly it is that you're looking for, because the reality of the situation is that we're in right now. If we wait for something to pop up on the MLS, chances are we're not going to have a realistic opportunity to get that property because of how hot the market currently is.
That makes sense. I've seen a lot of properties on Zillow, like they're there one day and gone tomorrow.
Yeah, and sometimes by the time they even hit Zillow, they're already under contract. And so your MLS is really your first level of having that opportunity. Sometimes it doesn't hit Zillow for 12 to 14 hours after it actually pops up in the MLS. So, Carl, right now, what is it that you and your family need the most in a house?
Well, I'd really like to have a garage.
Garage, okay.
I work a lot from home, and would like to have a little workshop. I'm looking for a larger backyard, somewhere where my family can grow, and I'm looking for about 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms. Any particular amount of bathrooms?
3-2, I think would be fine.
Okay. When you say a garage, are you looking for 1 car, 2 car, 3 car?
I would like something where I could have a workshop. If I can park a car in there, that'd be a plus.
So probably at least a 2-car garage.
I would think so,
got it. So 2-car garage, and you've highlighted some homes in a certain area. Is that the area that you really want to be in?
I would like to stay there because it's close to work.
Okay, close to work.
They have good schools, good for the family, so I'd like to stay within that target area.
Got it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being I'm not motivated at all, to 10 being if I find something that meets my criteria today and I can get it under contract, where are you at on that level?
I think I'm like a 7 or an 8. I've already spoke to the lender. I did my pre-approval. I know that there's a time limit there. So I am motivated, but the market is really, really high right now. And the properties that I'm seeing on Zillow and all of these other websites are showing me, estimates that are way above what my budget is. So I don't know how I'm going to find what I want in that area.
Yeah, first of all, those estimates are highly wrong most of the time. For instance, Spencer Raskoff, the founder of Zillow, he actually sold his home for less than what his Zillow's estimate said it was worth, and there have been instances where he's sold properties for more than what his estimate said it was worth. So, the market changes from day to day, and people like me are the ones who are looking at it and looking at the data that's happening in real time. Those estimates aren't happening in real time. Sometimes they don't update for 90 days. So while they are a metric that you can use, they're usually not realistic in terms of what the actual market's doing right now.
That makes sense.
My question for you, Carl, is how long do you plan to stay in your home?
I mean, this will be my home, so we're looking to raise our family. We have a good job. We're planning to stay in that area for a long time.
Are we talking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
I'd like to retire there. I'm looking for that forever home.
All right, and you're how old right now?
I am 35.
So 35. So we're looking for another 30 years that you plan to be in this home at least, right?
Yeah.
So here's one of the things that I'll tell you about the market. The real estate market has cycles, and usually if we were to go to like a really low place tomorrow, let's say you bought your house today and we went to a really low place in the market tomorrow, you plan on being there for the long term, it's not going to matter. You're going to recoup your investment in the long run regardless. The other thing that happens in a market that goes down in terms of the pricing on homes, rents actually go up, because rent becomes the thing that everyone is looking to do in those markets. So if you're looking to stay in your home for a while, yeah, you may feel like you're paying a really high amount of money for your property right now. And if you plan on keeping it, you're gonna recoup your investment regardless, because you're writing a check to yourself every single month for your house. And when you turn around and sell it in 30 years, if you choose to sell it, or if you plan to pass it down to your kids, it really doesn't matter what you pay for it right now.
That makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So you said you're probably a 7 or an 8. What would it take to make you a 10 to where we found the right house for you, you'd be willing to pull the trigger and make it happen?
I think a lot of it comes down to price, right? I want to feel, even though I know it's a long-term investment and I know I'll recoup, I do always like to feel that I'm making a good investment and buying low for the value of the property.
Yeah.
And that's really where I've been struggling, right? Is I just don't see the value matching the price. I see inflated prices and, you know, homes with bad pictures, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of value there.
So if you don't buy a house right now, what are you gonna do?
I mean, right now we're renting,
Okay.
and we do really want to get out of that, of renting. We want to own our own home, but we may have to sign another lease if we can't find something right away.
Yeah, and if your landlord comes to you, or you go and find out that the places for lease go up 20%, what makes more sense, buying or renting?
Honestly, we want to buy. I've done enough research that buying does make sense. It just, I gotta find that property.
So what does buying do for you and your family?
I think it just solidifies where we're gonna be for the long term, and that's really what my focus is.
Yeah, and you're getting your kids into school and everything like that, right?
Yeah, and I said, forever home, but the nice thing about it is I know I can, if we do end up moving, getting another job, I can maybe rent that property, and it could be a long-term investment property too.
There you
So
go.
that's where I'm looking.
Yeah, and if the market were to go down, rents normally go up, right? Like we talked about.
Exactly.
So you'd probably still be in a good position. So what I'm hearing you say is, if the right property came along right now, that would make you a 10.
I think so.
Okay, great. So you've narrowed down the area that you'd like to be in for schools, for your commute to work and everything like that. Here's what I would like to do for you. I'd like to get a copy of your pre-approval letter. I'm gonna redact the information on it so it doesn't have your name or anything like that on it. And I'm gonna target specifically the homes in that area that meet the criteria that you're looking for. I'm gonna send them a letter saying, hey, I've got Carl and his family. They're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage on a good sized lot. If you're thinking of selling your home, give me a call. I've attached his pre-approval letter so you know Carl is a legitimate buyer and we can move on this quickly. How does that sound for you?
That sounds amazing. That's above and beyond what I've heard other agents do.
Yeah, you see, in this market, as your buyer's agent, I have to be your listing agent too. I have to go out of my way to find that property for you. Otherwise, you're gonna compete against 17 other people on every single home that you get, and it's gonna force that price up even higher.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, so do I have your commitment that if I put my money into the marketing for you and send out that letter that you will follow through with any house that comes through that meets your criteria? You've done your inspection and everything like that. We can make a deal to make that work for you and your family?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to get in the door.
Good.
Yeah, I like that.
Good. Perfect. All right, Carl. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Scott.
That's how it's done.